Awesome. Let's get started. Okay, so the last time we were together, we were talking about our summative task. Okay, summative task. Let's see. Avery, can you remind our class what it is that we're supposed to be doing for our summative art task? What are we supposed to be doing? Avery, you are muted, so unmute and then tell me, what are we doing for our summative task? What are we making? Oh, unmute. Hi, Avery's family member. Oh my goodness. Okay. There you go. Go ahead. Oh, you're still muted. You have to press and hold your. I missed that. Grayson, help him out. What are we making in art? What's our summative task?
A motivational poster.
Yes, a motivational poster. That's exactly right. That's what we're making. All right. So last time we were together, I demonstrated to you on Monday how to space out your letters if you wanted them to be like all in a row and in a straight line. You can do your quote, your word, your phrase, your letters, however you want. Okay, you can do them however you want. If you were absent before the break, let me just remind you what it is that we're doing. And please do go back and watch the class recordings. That'll help you a lot. In fact, anybody can go and watch the class recordings anytime. Oh, there comes Jihad. Yay, okay. Yay, Jihad made it. Okay, so before the break, I introduced our summative task, which as Grayson and Avery mentioned, is a motivational poster or an inspirational poster, okay? We looked at examples like this, all right? We looked at examples like this and like this, all right, as a point of inspiration, all right? So if you are, I know that a couple people emailed me and they were a little bit stressful and they were saying, Ms. Cortez, I have no idea what to do for my summative task. I have no inspiration. I don't know what I'm doing. So at this point, because it's Wednesday, I want you to really, really focus. If you were one of those few people that's a little bit stressful and you don't know what is happening and you don't know what you're doing for your inspirational art, the first thing I want you to do is go online and type inspirational art and look at these ideas to give yourself an idea. Let's say you take something like this. It's got an abstract background and a cool quote right here. You could do something simple like that. All right, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but this could give you an idea, okay? Maybe you want to do something with a shape and a quote inside, but you don't feel confident enough yet in drawing the outline of a person. You could draw the outline of a pineapple or something else. So use this as a point of inspiration. And since it's Wednesday and these are due next Monday, at this point, it's just a matter of this is an assignment and you need to get it done. So get something on your paper, even if you start with a heart, okay? Get something on your paper with a quote, all right? So it looks like, oh my goodness, I know, let's see, who's having trouble? It looks like a couple people. Oh, Theo is having trouble connecting to the audio. I'm so sorry, Theo. Okay, so last time we were together, we practiced or I demonstrated to you one way of putting your letters onto your final piece of artwork. Today, I'm going to demonstrate one way of adding color to your piece of artwork, okay? This is not the only way. You guys can do this in any method that you wish. You can have whatever quote that you want. You can have an inspirational word. You can do it any way that you like. Your letters don't have to be the same size or shape. They don't have to be in a straight line. They can be in whatever way that you want. So before I demonstrate to you the color technique, does anybody have any questions or concerns? Or if you want to hold up what you have so far, you can do that. Zoe has a question. Go ahead, Zoe.
So for sorry, I cannot speak today. For our motivational poster, it's just in our process journal, right?
Yes, you just put it in your process journal. There are a couple of people that asked me if they could do it on Canvas, like Maddie, and that's okay if you have that, but you don't have to. You can just put it right in your process journal. Okay, I just took this paper out because I need to demonstrate, and it's going to be too difficult to like hold up my notebook.
Okay.
Okay, Maddie, that looks great. Okay, other questions? What other questions do you have? Or maybe you're a little bit nervous. Grayson, that is an interesting background you got going on. Yeah, feel free to hold up what you have. Bryn has a question. Go ahead.
So I kind of haven't started mine yet because I didn't realize I was supposed to.
Okay, that's okay. So last class on Monday was the first class that we were kind of starting, and I was demonstrating some lettering things. So maybe I didn't make that totally clear. That's okay. So before the break, remember, we brainstormed ideas and we did our alternate ideas graph, and then we sketched some thumbnails. Then last class, I demonstrated one way of doing letters, and then I gave you guys the remaining time to start working on your final piece of art. So if you're a little bit behind, that's okay, you still have time, but you're probably gonna have to work a little bit more to get it done by Monday, okay?
Okay, so do I have to come up with the design I want to do?
Yes, yes. So when right before break, the brainstorming that we were doing before break, and I don't know if maybe you were absent, but you're not the only one. But that was to help us kind of narrow down our idea. And then upon returning from break this past Monday, I had hoped that most people at least had some idea of what they wanted to do for their final piece. So if you are like Bryn or like a couple of other people that emailed me and you're like, oh my gosh, Ms. Cortez, I don't know what to do. I haven't started. I'm so far behind. The first step is going to be choosing your design. So you can go online and search up inspirational art and think about what inspires you. So last hour, I was talking to a student who was in the same exact boat and was stressing out and was like, I don't know what inspires me. And so she mentioned that travel inspires her. So you can type inspirational art and then something that inspires you. And this can give you a way to narrow it down. So somebody made me think of coffee as an inspiration. So I can look at things that inspire me about coffee. Maybe you like to skateboard, okay? Inspirational art skateboarding, all right? So this is cute. Life is a journey, enjoy the ride. There you go. So there are a lot of ways that you can get inspiration and you can use those as starting points. Then you're gonna start sketching it in your process journal, okay? So you're gonna start sketching it lightly with pencil and adding your words and stuff. Now today, the goal is to get to a point where you can start adding some color. And oh, cool, Sophia, that looks great. Yeah, you guys can hold up what you have so far. Trey, I am so sorry. Melina, yes, you can ask a question at any point. Okay, Trey. I am sorry. Can everybody else hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, or a thumbs down if I'm choppy, or maybe I'm not speaking loudly enough. Okay, cool. All right, it looks like most people can hear me okay. Trey might maybe turn your volume up, or I don't know, but I'm sorry. Maybe try turning your camera off, Trey. That might make the audio a little bit better. Oh, good. It looks like Theo got his audio figured out too. So that, or I don't know, maybe he didn't. I'm not sure. Okay, Melina, did you still have a question?
Okay, so is everybody gonna go trick or treating?
Oh, you wanted to ask about trick or treating.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
ask who is gonna be like what costume you're
Who's
gonna
going
make you guys
out?
wear.
Okay, if we have time at the end, you guys can think about Melina's question, and then at the end I'll open up the chat, and you can let you guys can chat about if you're going trick or treating. Okay, so today I'm going to demonstrate one method of adding color to your artwork. Now you guys probably already have ideas about how you want to add color and coloring in your shapes, and those are awesome. Oh, thanks, Brooks. That might help. I think, oh yeah, that was happening to me the other day too with the audio output. So for Trey, Brooks mentioned you can also try changing your audio output device to your built-in speakers or headphones and see if that makes the audio a little bit better. See if that helps. Thanks for that tip, Brooks.
Yeah, it keeps happening to me because I have the headset and then I have a separate like microphone. So it's so I keep having to change it too.
Yeah. Oh, Zoe's birthday is coming up. Happy birthday soon, Zoe. And then somebody had a birthday on Sunday or something too, I think.
My birthday was yesterday, October 6th.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elliot. Happy birthday to you. Yay.
My birthday was last week on Thursday.
Happy birthday to Bryn. Happy birthday to Bryn. Kinisha Quila. Sengyuka Hamida. Yeah.
It was also Miss Hoop's birthday as well.
What? Hopefully you guys all sang her a song or made her a PowerPoint.
So many birthdays.
Joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's talk about adding color. Okay. So I have a completed shape here. I'm going to teach you how to make this gradient effect. This is just one of many ways of adding color, but it's an effect that a lot of students have asked me to demonstrate before. And so I'm going to demonstrate how to do this. So I have a blank heart shape on the back of my paper, and I'm going to demonstrate how to create this gradient effect, okay? And I chose to do this effect with 3 colors. You can do it, you can just do it with 1 color if you just want to go from dark to light. You can do 2 colors or however many colors that you want, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do it starting from scratch with a blank heart. So the 3 colors that I have chosen are orange, a lavender color, and then a dark purple, all right? And I am going to hold up my notebook here and demonstrate to you. I am going to start on the bottom of my heart. And when you are doing a gradient, I recommend using colored pencils or crayons just because they blend a little bit easier. You can do the same effect with markers, but you are more likely to get those distinct lines. You can also do the same effect with paint, but you have to really know how your paint works before you start applying it to your paper or your canvas. Now, you do not have to do this gradient effect. This is just one way that I'm going to demonstrate how to add color. So if you have other ideas, you can grab your process journal and sketchbook and add color while I'm demonstrating this. If you want to watch more carefully the techniques, I'm going to be holding this up and showing it to you, but you can certainly be working on your inspirational poster as we go along, okay? When you are creating a gradient of color, you always want to start with the lightest color, all right? The reason, well, does anybody know why we might start with the lightest color when we're doing this gradient effect? Any ideas as to why we might do this? Brooks, what do you think?
So when you're blending it, maybe the darker colors don't like go over it or something.
That's a good thought. Anybody else? Why else might we use the lightest color first? Rachel.
the light won't blend into the darker colors nearly as well as the darker colors will blend into the lighter colors.
Yes, so Rachel said the lighter colors won't blend as easily or as quickly into the darker colors, whereas the darker colors are going to kind of overpower it. So we always start with the lightest because it is always easier to add color than it is to take away color, all right? So I'm going to start with the lightest color and I'm going to use a very light pressure and I'm going to start shading in the bottom area of my heart, okay? You want to take your time and be patient and use a light pressure when you are doing this because as I just said, it's always easier to add color than it is to take color away. So we're gonna start with a light application of our color and I'm gonna go pretty far up onto my heart here, okay? Once I have a light application of my color, then I'm going to start again at the bottom and add another layer with a slightly bit more pressure, okay? You need to go slowly and you need to be patient in order to get your gradient to look really, really smooth. If you go too fast, you're going to get harsh lines. And if you want a truly smooth gradient, you need to go slowly, okay? You need to go slowly. And you're going to have to do this same thing several more times. I would say at least 4 to 6 times. Again, always starting at the bottom. Let me make that so you guys can see a little bit easier. Always starting at the bottom. I'm using a little bit more pressure here. I know I want the dark to be, or excuse me, the bottom to be more vibrant. And then a medium pressure as I'm coming up. And this is how we're going to begin making our gradient, okay? We want our gradient to be smooth. So this is not something that you can do very quickly. So if you don't feel like making a gradient, if that's not something you want to do, that's totally okay, right? But we're gonna make a happy little gradient. Threw that out there for my fans of Bob Ross. I know. Okay, so are you starting to see how it's moving from darker to lighter, all right? Now, the more colors you add in your gradient, the more carefully you're going to have to think about how the colors transition into one another, okay? I'm gonna work on this side just because I wanna make sure that you have plenty of time. So I'm gonna move to my lavender color next, okay? And my lavender color is gonna be here. It's gonna be my middle color, okay? And again, I'm starting very, very lightly and I'm gonna overlap with some of the orange. Okay, I'm gonna overlap with some of the orange. Very, very lightly. All right, very, very lightly. And again, I'm gonna come in and put a second layer and it's slowly, you might be like, Miss Cortez, I don't even see any color appearing on the page. It's not getting any darker. I promise you it is. I promise you the pigment is getting onto the page. I promise, I promise. We're going to get it. And then you need to start thinking about where do you want the darkest point of my second color, okay? So maybe I want the darkest point about here. So I have lightly, very lightly drawn a horizontal line, and that's where I'm gonna kind of build from. So I'm gonna do a little bit darker here, a little bit darker. And you'll notice that right now I have a pretty distinct line, okay? I'm glad I'm so glad that it's so satisfying. So right now I have a pretty distinct line. I don't want it to be that distinct, okay? So we're gonna keep adding layers. We're gonna keep adding layers, right? And I'm not going all the way across the heart because I wanna save time. So I'm gonna add some more layers to my heart. I know that my camera is a bit wobbly when it's tricky to do upside down and backwards. I'm going to keep adding and keep darkening my section here. Now, as I am blending the lavender with the orange, I might notice that I want to come back in and maybe even add a little bit more orange over the top in a few places, okay? So you just have to kind of look at it and think, oh, how do I want it to look? I want it to be carefully blended into this beautiful smooth gradient. And I want it to be getting darker as it moves up this way. Now, I haven't really done that much above the lavender yet, and that's okay because you have to think carefully about adding your third color, and I'm going to do that in a second. So right now I'm just thinking about blending it with the orange. Okay, we have a pretty decent gradient between the orange and the lavender. Might need just a skosh more orange right through here. Again, we can always add more color. It's harder to take away. That's why we start with our lightest color. Ooh, that looks even better. That's much better, yes. Start with the lightest color because our darker colors overpower, and we want to make sure that we're really blending it carefully, all right? So now we have this beautiful gradient between the orange and the lavender. Okay, and now we're going to think about our final color. So I'm going to bring my lavender up again. Same thing, very, very lightly. Right now we still have this very distinct line, but don't worry, we're going to get rid of it because we're going to keep adding layers to our piece of art. Take your time, don't rush it. I know you're going to get here and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. My arm's getting tired. Okay, well, take a break, stretch it out, whatever you need to do. But don't try to rush this if you want a smooth gradient. Now, if you don't want a smooth gradient, if you want those lines, which are totally fine, that's definitely an artistic look that is absolutely fine and acceptable. But if you want that smooth gradient, you have to be patient. You just have to be patient. You have to take your time and you have to just keep adding those layers little by little, little by little, little by little. Okay, little by little. And now we're really starting to get a smooth gradient. A smooth color transition. Yes, oh my gosh, this looks so pretty. Okay, so now we're going to come in with our darkest color. You might notice that the proportion of colors is getting a little bit smaller. That could be just the artist's choice, but there's also another reason for it. When we are looking at a piece of art, our eyes are often drawn to the most bold or the darkest color in a piece of artwork. And sometimes our brains can give it more attention. And so artists will sometimes choose to make their lighter colors take up a bit more space to create balance with how heavy the dark colors are. Ooh, Maddie, that looks awesome. Nice. All right, so we're gonna come in with our darkest color now, which is this violet color. And again, so, so, so lightly, barely touching the pencil to the paper. Okay, very, very, very lightly. You might not even be able to see anything yet on my screen. Okay, because it's so, so light, all right? And again, we're gonna start building up those layers. Building up those layers. I'm going to take my pencil and kind of just make an outline on the edge here, just so that I'm not going over my pencil line. All right, there we go. Now I can continue building up my color, building it up little by little, smoothly, so carefully. So the darker color, you have to be careful, guys, because it can overpower everything. You need to go slow. You need to move in small sections. If you're doing this with paint, it's really important that you don't overdo it. So one method that painters will use is they will take their two colors of paint on their palette, okay? And on their palette, they will take a little bit of one color and a little bit of the other color and mix them together into a purely blended version of the two on their palette. Because this is what happens. If you are working directly on your canvas, this happens all the time, your darker color will start to overpower your lighter color. If you are trying to add the color black, for example, to another color like this pink, you want to add just a teensy tiny little dot. That color will go a really, really long way. And so if I were working on my canvas and I had this piece of orange and I had this bit of purple paint and I just started blending them together, this purple would overtake all of this. It would not look like a gradient at all. It would end up just looking like a purpley blob. So you have to be very careful when you're working with paint, because the darker colors will overpower it so quickly. So a little teeny tiny bit when you're working with paint, okay? Now see, we're starting to get this beautiful gradient. It's coming, it's happening. And all we're doing is working in small sections, light pressure, going over it again and again and again. Now I'm coming in a little bit more pressure, just like a medium pressure here, okay? To give our heart shape some more depth with this dark purple. It's so pretty, so pretty. I really wanted to choose colors that contrasted well, that you could see well on the page. But these definitely work. And again, if you notice that you need to come back in with your previous color, that's totally doable. You can absolutely come back in and add more. You can always add more. You can't take it away. I've probably said that about 25 times already just in this class. It's like 100 times already today. Okay. And now we are having this beautiful gradient from this dark purple here to our orange. So beautiful. And Miss Cortez is doing it upside down. I should get an extra gold star for doing this upside down and backwards. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Miss Cortez, you want a virtual high five?
I do want a virtual high five. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I love all your high fives. Awesome. Okay, so now we have this nice gradient. And depending on how strong you want, thank you, everybody, your middle color to be, you can come in again and blend all of this. So lovely. Yes, so pretty. Yes, all right, so this is just one way to add color to your piece of artwork with this gradient blending technique. And it's just a cool technique to learn how to do. And I will tell you, the first time I started practicing this, I was not good at it. You might have to practice a little bit. And that's okay. That's what this class is for. It's not called, criteria B isn't called your skills are perfect. It's called developing skills, okay? Nothing about criteria B says that your skills have to be perfect or professional or whatever. It's called developing your skill. Rachel, did you have a question?
Yes, I was wondering because I was planning on using my oil pastels for my blending. What if I wanted to put my darkest color in the center?
What if you wanted to, what if you want your darkest color in the center? Okay, so you're gonna use a similar approach that we did here. Don't do your darkest color first. Do all of your lighter colors on the outside and then slowly move towards the center. Okay, all right, good questions. Other questions about adding color or elements to your artwork? Zoe.
Can I just real fast show you my waterfall
Absolutely.
gradient?
Yes, show me what you got. Ooh, look at that. That looks great. Oh, and I see you used the distinct lines to create the elements of the waterfall. That looks great.
Yeah, my poster has a river going through it, so the waterfall works great for the gradient.
That's awesome. Okay, a couple of other quick things. Number one, this piece of artwork is due before we have class on Monday, because when we come to class on Monday, you are going to show it to me, okay? What is Miss Cortez going to be grading you on? Well, first of all, I'm going to be grading you on, are you using some elements of art? Can I tell that you have shape or color or line or some of the other elements? You had to use at least 4, right? You can go back and check the rubric. I was going to take some time today to talk to you guys about your artist statement, but I've decided that I'm going to do that on Monday instead, because I want you guys to have some extra time to just focus on getting your piece of art finished, because some people need a little extra time. On Monday, we will talk about your artist statement, and I will have a document template that you will be able to use to write your first artist statement. Okay, Brooks, good. Brooks is getting the splint off of his broken finger. Yay, he's had such a challenge writing with a broken finger. And I'm very happy that you're getting that off. So if you need more time, Brooks, that's okay. Also, there is a possibility that next Wednesday and Thursday, we will end up having the map testing thing that we didn't have before. So don't fret. We are in this together. The only thing that you guys need to be working on for your homework is getting your motivational poster finished. Okay, that's what you should be working on. So at this point, I am going to give you guys some options. You are free to exit the Zoom and continue working on your summative art task. If you have specific questions or you want to show me what you have so far or talk to me about your particular piece, stick around. Also, I'm going to turn the chat back on really fast if, because we have a minute to answer Melina's question. Give us thumbs up if you are going to go trick-or-treating, and then in the chat box, you can write what you think your costume will be, since that's what Melina asked. Which is fun. Okay, it looks like a lot of people are thinking about going trick-or-treating. Please be safe when you trick-or-treat. I want everybody to be safe. And then some people are going to go to a haunted house. Some people don't know what they're going to be for Halloween yet. So not sure. Okay, if you don't have any questions, I will see you guys next time. Bye.